Honestly, I forgot it even existed. It's that bad.
I'm a bird, mother. I'm a bird.
From the very first episode, it was crystal clear that the Acolyte was one of the biggest failures in the history of Disney Star Wars. And as more and more episodes came out, it only cemented that belief in the eyes of the vast majority of the fandom. And now finally, a month after the finale aired on Disney Plus, we get the news that should be expected. The Acolyte has officially been canceled.
No one's been watching it. Like, do you know a single person who's been watching it? I sure as hell know no one.
Yeah.
Canceled. No season 2 for Leslie Headland and crew. This show is over. And of course, in the immediate aftermath of this breaking news that came from Deadline, that's who first broke the story, a lot of fans certainly reacted. And the vast majority of people out there said, yeah, of course, they should cancel it. It wouldn't make any sense to make a season 2, considering no one actually watched this thing.
There you go.
We talked about this yesterday, and we've talked about it for weeks, honestly. When you look at the ratings, despite the fact that Disney tried to gaslight people into believing it was a success with those first day numbers, and then when we saw the comparison numbers, we realized, oh no, it's actually not a success. This is very, very bad news for them. And it only continued to get worse as interest fell off throughout the course of 8 episodes. And then ultimately we found out that the finale had the lowest viewership of any Disney Star Wars show in history by a large margin.
When you get a low number on the season finale, you know you need to just stop and reconsider your thoughts. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch a single episode of it. It didn't look good at all. I saw the trailer and I'm like, nah, not for me. I'm not the target audience for this. Did you guys see what the journals on Twitter are saying? Yeah. Massive day for incel YouTube channels with under 10k subscribers making the worst clickbait and problematic videos you've ever seen. And of course the topic is the Acolyte has been cancelled after season 1. I wasn't even planning to talk about Star Wars Acolyte because, again, nothing about it interested me. I even forgot about its existence, but this kind of rubbed me the wrong way. The Acolyte getting cancelled because incels couldn't handle a sexy black girl and a sexy Asian man serving evil villainous romance.
What? I don't even want to know. That sounds like a dumb plot already.
Less than half of the viewership from the finale of Andor, and about 40% less than the viewership for the finale of Ahsoka. This is not a show that should have been greenlit. And yes, you know what? I understand. There's a
Look at this. The audience score 18%. Tomato, of course, 78. I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
a couple hundred people out there that are diehard Acolyte fans. They love this show. They wanted so desperately to see a second season, but that is not the majority. The majority of people despise this show, but we're now seeing them go full cope mode, and of course blaming toxic fans for the reason that this show got canceled. I wanted to go through a handful of them that I thought were funny enough to bookmark. You've got here, Amy the Phillies fan. I'm really tired of...
They're blaming the same people for the modern audience games that are flopping.
Yep.
They're doing the same shit there. But the reality is, if your modern audience that you say exists doesn't even buy those games, where are they?
Sharing the franchise I love with toxic, misogynistic, immature racists, and constantly seeing them catered to, even though the rest of us have been here all along wanting new and fresh stories that connect deeply with all of us. The irony of this statement is that this show was specifically catering to this small fringe group in the Star Wars fandom that is not as big as they think it is, that is incredibly small, and this show just proved it. The Acolyte was catered to pronoun in bio crowd, to people with, you know, stan accounts.
I don't think even they were watching it.
No, they were like, it's not my taste.
No. Look, can we stop pretending that these loud people on Twitter actually play games or watch Star Wars shows? Can we stop pretending about it? Yes, there'll be the loudest mob mentality on social media, attacking anyone who doesn't agree with them, but yet they themselves do not go and support the product.
No, because they're busy always on Twitter. They're permanently on Twitter.
Yep.
They have like 3 monitors, and every one of them is like filled to the brim with Twitter feeds.
Twitter, Discord, and Reddit.
And trans flags, Palestine flags in their bios. Like, these people, that's who this show was catered to. From the showrunner to the group of writers they surrounded themselves with, even to the casting. This is what it was all about. They told you from the beginning. Story was on the back burner. It was all about diversity and representation and things like this. You got the show you wanted. They catered to you. And it was the biggest failure they've ever seen. What does that tell you? Maybe you are in the minority. Maybe all the people that you label as misogynistic, racist, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they're the ones that actually just want Star Wars content from a story perspective that makes sense, that honors the world, and doesn't damage the brand further. Maybe you are actually in the minority, because you truly are. The Acolyte being canceled is only going to fuel the most annoying people in the fandom who led the full-on hate train without even watching it because they don't know how to think for themselves. Disney needs to stop catering to these losers.
Wow.
The losers they need to stop catering to are you. Just like Kathleen Kennedy said like a decade ago.
Bro.
I genuinely wonder, when will companies realize where the actual money is? Let's talk about the fact that if you know how to run a company, you know where the money is. Otherwise, you go bankrupt. And what is happening right now? These companies who are catering to that specific ideology are just hemorrhaging money. Like, they're bleeding out so fast.
Right? We don't need the old male fan base anymore. We need a new, fresh audience. You are the audience they're catering to. And what happened in the movie, in the show that they spent $180 million on to cater to you? One, virtually everyone that watched it hated it.
180 million on this show? It didn't look like it. Where did the money go? It looked bad. The script was bad. There is a specific place where the money went. Consultancy agencies.
And it had almost no interest. What are you talking about? Who else are they supposed to cater to? This is not financially sustainable. They catered to you, and no one came out and watched it because you are the fringe, insignificant part of the fandom. Star Wars continues to fold under the pressure, the worst, smallest, loudest part of the fan base. How ironic is this? How can you not see? You are that group. The smallest, loudest, worst part of the fan.
How can you be this delusional? There is absolutely no way. It's like, at some point they need to realize that math is just not mathing. And a lot of people who are talking about it, they're not even insulting them. They're literally just explaining that the decisions you're making are not profitable. Hence, all these studios and all these shows are shutting down. There's no one being insulted. And I'm not saying all of them don't insult them, but most of these YouTubers who talk about it, they do not insult anyone.
Base. Because a show got made specifically for you, and despite all of your tweeting, despite all their hashtag renew the Acolyte tweets, it didn't get renewed because nobody fucking tuned in to watch it. This is so wildly disappointing. Such a shameful move on Disney's part to abandon great stories and storytellers because of trolls. The Acolyte deserves better. The Acolyte deserves exactly what it fucking got. Canceling The Acolyte is one of the worst decisions ever. It was a series that was finally pushing Star Wars into a new, fresh direction and was set up for an even better second season, but a bunch of babies couldn't handle that, and now we'll be stuck with more of the same forever, says Jack. Well, I'm sorry, Jack, that no one watched your dog shit. Disney really said fuck you to so many queer, POC, and non-traditional Star Wars fans, all because this show got review-bombed to hell and back before it even came out. You know, there was a lot of negative coverage, myself included, of The Acolyte before it came out because of what the cast and crew members were saying, because you could tell the writing was on the wall that they did not go into this with the idea of honoring Star Wars and telling a great story at the forefront. They came in with identity politics in mind. Like I said before, from Leslie Headland being hired as the showrunner with her idea that she wanted to push, to all of the ideology that got crammed into that writer's room. They hired people that didn't even know what Star Wars was, simply because they were the right gender, the right color, and the right sexuality. This is what they wanted to do, and it failed for them. Bottom line. I even saw Molly Damon out here, half of Star Wars Explained, very famously. Totally agree with Jennifer Land about the way the Acolyte news is being handled. People are very mad that the news is that the Acolyte is canceled, instead of like Book of Boba Fett or Obi-Wan or whatever, because we just never got any answers to that, and there's still people clamoring for an Obi-Wan Season 2, which there absolutely should not be. They're mad that this got the headline that it was canceled. Some fans thought there'd be a Season 2 of Kenobi, but when that didn't happen, it was never reported in the trades as being canceled. My point is, by using the term canceled, it emboldens a certain portion of the fan base to purposely review bombed and did everything they could to trash the series simply because it had predominantly POC cast. It was created by Leslie Headland, who's an openly gay woman. Deadline knows this. It's so funny you keep going back to this.
Did any of you know that?
I didn't. I honestly don't give a crap. If they can make a good one, who cares? Who cares of all of that crap?
I had no idea about it, and I still was saying that the show was just tragic.
I will always go back to House of the Dragon. Now, certainly a lot of people didn't necessarily like the finale of Season 2, but when I saw the way House of the Dragon was being talked about in the lead up to Season 1, I really thought it was going to be a nightmare and a disaster. I was very open about that. And then the first episode came out, and I was like, I actually really like this. And after episode 2, I was like, listen, I was wrong. I thought this was going to be a nightmare, but I really enjoy what they're doing. That has a very diverse cast led by women. There's gay characters in it and all these different things. Yet, when I saw that even though I thought something was going to be bad, it actually turned out to be good, I had to say, no, this is actually good. The difference with the Acolyte is that it sucked, that it wasn't good. And we are going to continue to see these meltdowns continue, there's no doubt, because ironically, while they're claiming that the smallest, loudest part of the fan base, they got what they wanted, you are the smallest, loudest part of the fan base. For the most part,
look, I can guarantee you there are so many Star Wars fans who are not chronicling online how they are and how we are, and even they went, what is this shit? I'm not watching it.
Full of very young people who's super active on social media, maybe don't even have a job, maybe you're still living with their parents, maybe their parents are still paying their Disney Plus accounts, and you're all about identity politics. This show proves that despite what you continue to push, despite these delusions of grandeur you have in your head, the vast majority of Star Wars fans do not want this. They didn't tune in, and the ones that did give it a chance fucking hated it. So, sorry that your show got canceled, and I understand some of you may have genuinely enjoyed it. And you know what? That sucks for you. But for the overall Star Wars fan base, this is a good thing. There is no way in hell that this show should ever have gotten a Season 2. It doesn't make sense from a financial standpoint. It had the lowest viewership of all the shows in history, and as it went on, it just continued to get worse and worse and worse. This show is a pathetic failure, and right now, the freaks and weirdos, they cannot handle it. Disaster for Lucasfilm, but at least they did the right thing and canceled the show. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.
Good video.
Good video.